We are live back with the Final Flight podcast. Myself, I have made a triumphant return. We've got Rich again tonight. Joe's running a little bit late, and we welcome once again, the special guest that is Jack, Racing Interest. How are you, Jack? Are you ready for tonight's podcast?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me again. Always a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to it. Some quality racing the weekend, so let's get into it.
Yeah, always glad to have you on, mate. Honestly, we had a good time for Royal Ascot. We had some really big winners, so fingers crossed we can do it for this weekend again. Are you looking forward to it, Rich? Some decent racing at Ascot and York as well?
Yeah, it's a good weekend. It's good to have you back.
I'm assuming you've missed me, and obviously you've picked plenty of winners in my absence, so fair play to you. I'm going to bring the quality of tips down now as we move straight into the weekend's racing. And without further ado, we'll dive straight in. Joe will join us at some point, no doubt, and we're going to kick us off on the Saturday. The 150 at Ascot, the Princess Margaret Stakes. We've obviously got some, Soprano is entered in here, but sort of didn't win today, so it'll be interesting to see if that horse runs. You've got Pretty Crystal, Symbology, Dazzling Star, and a few other bigger odds. I'm going to go straight to our special guest, Jack. You're going to kick us off tonight, mate. Let's hear the winner of the first race on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a good race. It's a good little race to kick it off. It was won last year by Lazoo, weren't it? And I was looking at the trends, and Lazoo met them all last year. But now the last 12 have had 2 runs under the belt, and 11 of the last 12 winners have ran over 6 furlongs. There's a few in here. There's a lot of unknowns who have just had 1 run. A few that could be anything really, but I've landed on Pretty Crystal. Who he doesn't only fit the trends, but he ran very solid races. He ran in the Albany at the Royal Ascot, and I wouldn't say he never got to look at where he is.
Yeah, he is. His Joe. He's finally arrived.
Bye, boys.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he didn't get unlucky because he ran a solid race, but he seemed to stay on very well. And I watched that race back 2 or 3 times this morning. I'm thinking he's got a bit in him. I mean, Matrika, who finished second, has come out and won a Group 2 since, and Persian Dreamer come 4th. Who beat Pretty Crystal by a nose, has come out and won a Group 2 since as well. I know Soprano's come out and disappointed today, but yeah, I think there's nothing really I can interest me into anything else, but he does seem a good bet. He's one of my bigger bets at the Saturday. So yeah, Pretty Crystal and Queen's Reign. He's one of the unknowns, but he won at Newmarket last time out, and after about 4 furlongs in, he led, and from 4 furlongs in, I thought, oh no, that horse is beat, and he just seemed to stay and stay. And within the final furlong, he got a tap from the back, and he shot clear, and he ended up winning with ease in the end. And that was shot down to greenness, and he ends up winning easy in the end. But he was first off the bridle. He must have hit about 33-1 in running with greenness, and then once he's got it a few times, he very well. I think he's about 16 or 18-1. So if you want a little each way, that's what I want to look out for. But yeah, Pretty Crystal.
Love it. A nice explanation for Pretty Crystal there, Jack. Nice one. We'll come to you then, Rich. We'll give Joe a little bit of time to get him settled in. But are you in agreement with Jack, or have you got something else on your radar?
Yeah, Pretty Crystal for me as well. Similar notes. 5th in the Albany. 2nd and 4th have won next time out. Soprano's won today. Probably didn't see out the trip. Probably he's dropping back in trip. Yeah, the winner. He won at Ripon on debut, and second also come out and won next time out. So I think the form's pretty strong. I think this one they've all got to beat. The only one I looked at was the Godolphin Dazzling Star, but he's 9-1. I'd be worried if there was any market support, but it seems to be pretty big at the minute. So yeah, Pretty Crystal for me.
It's 2 for 2 for Pretty Crystal. Then I'm going to come to you, Joe. Are you all set up, ready to go today, Joe?
I am, mate. I'm going to make it 3 for 3.
Oh my days!
Like I say, like the lads have said, just quick explanation. But I've got down very impressive at Ripon, and then ran nicely in the Albany. He sort of like dropped out the back. seem to stay on very nicely. Like I say, the form's been boosted. Soprano didn't really live up to the height of today, but I think there's a good horse in there. He's out of a Group 3 winner as well, from the same owners. And obviously he's run over course and distance at Royal Ascot. He's been brought back here. He seems to be getting a bit of support at the minute. I know it's only early, but I think he's 4s, he's into 3s now. I think his form suggests he's the one to beat. Unless anything comes massively out the pack, obviously this whole horse holds the Royal Ascot form. He's been given a nice break. It was only his second run, so I think he'll come on nicely from it. I think this is the one they've all got to beat.
Nice one, mate. Well, I've obviously gone 3 for 3, so obviously I'm going to go for something completely out of the blue, and I'm going to go for a big price one here, and I've got prices currently, and I'm going to go for Oisin Murphy's ride in this 22-1. It's an horse called Gladly Ever After, and I'm just giving a small chance to this horse. Archie Watson trained filly. She looked pretty impressive on the debut. If you watch it, she was slowly away, and she gave away quite a lot of lengths early on. A little scrubbed along. Ollie Doyle gave it a real good ride, really pushed and knew. I think she knew what she was under, what she had under her. Sorry, and I think this horse just sort of picked up, travelled all over them, even though they gave all that lengths away at the beginning and won going away quite comfortably. Now, obviously, Oisin Murphy takes over the ride. I think that's a plus. I just give her a small chance. She is entered in a Group 2. She holds a Group 2 entry at York. I think it's the Lowther. And so I'm happy to take a chance that she could be a pretty good filly, and she could maybe outrun her odds at 22-1. I do think Pretty Crystal's pretty strong at the top of the market, but I'm just going to take a little bit of an each-way punt on this one, and I'm going to go for Gladly Ever After at 22-1. What do you think of that?
Very good, mate. Play the forecast 1-2. Start your weekend off nicely.
Well, it'll be a nice little weekend start of that, won't it? Chuffing, hell. Right. 3 votes for Pretty Crystal, 1 for Gladly Ever After at a big price. Fingers crossed we've got the winner there, maybe the forecast. Right, we're going to move on then to the Group 2 over a mile, the Valiant Stakes, 225 at Ascot. As soon as you were late, Joe, I'll come to you, mate. I'll give you a chance to go first in this one. You've got a pretty strong field in here. Obviously, let us hear your thoughts.
It's cut up massively, hasn't it? I like Grand Dame. Obviously not running anymore. The one that stands out, I know he's been hammered into favourite. Am I on the right lines here? James, you look surprised.
You're not on the one I'm on, I don't think, but we'll see.
Oh, no. Like I say, pulled out.
Grand Dam is not in the race, no longer correct. You are correct there, sorry, mate.
No, yeah, I like this one. I'd probably say Random Harvest, to be honest. He's won a Group 3 on soft before. Trainer last time out at Royal Ascot was beaten by the Road Millennium, not by much, and the trainer come out and said very happy with her, seemed to improve with every run of the season. We look forward to seeing her out next time. I think they've sort of landed here and landed pretty lucky. Prosperous Voyage, I think, was also entered and hasn't been declared. Like I say, he's second in a Group 2 last time out, Ascot course and distance. Form on Group 3 winner on soft ground. I think this one ticks a few boxes. I think it'll go off a bit short. I don't know what price it is now. I know it was 8 last night. It's probably into 5-2, 2-1 or something, but that's probably the one I was playing on.
6-1 earlier on. I checked about 2-3 hours ago. He was 6-1.
Yeah, you can get about 10 to 3, 3-1-ish at this moment in time. It's not bad.
Not right.
Nice one then, Joe. I'll come over to you then, Jack. Are you in agreement with Joe on this one with Random Harvest getting backed in now?
I wasn't at first, but then when Grand Dam got pulled, he's going to France on Sunday. I was right in Random Harvest. I think the race is made for him. He loves it round Ascot. That's the main thing, especially your horses around Ascot. He's got 4 figures. He's second, first, third, and second. That's her 4 figures around Ascot, so she loves it round there. She's been a few big prices as well. She was 22-1 at Royal Ascot, wasn't she, when she was done by Road Millennium, and she stayed on really well that day. But yeah, she was unlucky in the Duke of Cambridge. The Newmarket running well to put a line through, because I think that was a level too big for her. I don't think she's at that level. I think she's this is a drop back down in class level wise anyway. So I don't think that Newmarket run, I'm willing to put a line through, and the ground. I know that Golden said good on that Newmarket race, but it definitely wasn't. So I think we all seen it when Nashua bolted. It was at least heavy, soft. It was at least one of them. But yeah, and she was outpaced that day. And to be fair, she didn't get that much luck on the running. If you look on running, she was short of room. And then I think Safi Osborne was like, she's not going to win, and just sort of went easy on her in the end. But this is a lot lower level race to compete in. It's probably the worst Group 3 ever, but it's a race in it. And Safi knows the horse like the back of her hand. So yeah, I'm with Joe Random Harvest. There was 6-1 earlier, but yeah, as you just said, 130 now. So I wouldn't put anyone off that.
That was the first pick, Grand Dame, and then it got changed late on, sort of a last minute change when I looked at the decks at work and I was like, oh god, race cut.
He was on me and you were on Grand Dame, weren't we, at Royal Ascot, and he went to Father 4 in running and then just stopped, and I think he could make 9th. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you guys said. I'm wondering if Rich is going to make it another 3 for 3, because you all three of you seem to be on the same page. Have you all been speaking to each other without me? Is that what it is now?
On the walkie-talkie during the day,
So yeah, Random Harvest is the one they've got to beat. I'll throw a different angle in just so it's not all samey. Emena, is it, for Varian? I quite like.
Yeah. That the one that hasn't run for a while.
Yeah, so it's only had 3 runs. Last run came in at 2022, 1,000 guineas. Yeah. She finished 6th. Not been seen since, so probably something can miss, probably not the easiest to train. But that race has produced some quite good fillies. So there's a prosperous voyage in that Tuesday. So I think it was a good standard. So I also saw something about Varian's record where horses are running after a long layoff. So his record for horses with layoffs of between 200 and 500 days stands at 26%. So I think I think that's pretty good. So I wouldn't put the layoff down as a negative for her. She's about 92, I think, best price, and she could have been kind of like forgotten horse potentially. She's not been seen since last year, so that's probably one I'd maybe play.
Very interesting stat that, by the way, Rich.
I'd be interested to see how many of those come off a long layoff and one on soft going. That'd be interesting if that maybe tires that one out. But I'm not with the fave. I've gone against. I've gone with a horse, the Johnny Murtaugh horse with Jamie Spencer on, and it's a horse called Cador Bell or Cadere Bell. I'm not sure how you pronounce that first bit, but Cadere Bell. You can get each way, sort of 11-2. I quite like this horse. Like I say, Spencer on board. If you watch her debut, she had a debut over 7 furlong on soft, and she won really well. I think she stayed on powerfully and looked at a decent level there, I thought. And again, come out and won at Navan over a mile. And if you watch that race back as well, another one where staying on really strongly at the end and just coming off the pace. And I think that was sort of a listed level where you've come away thinking this horse is definitely above that level. Obviously, coming into a Group 3, she's going to have to step up again on that. But I'd just give her a chance. Obviously, the ground will suit soft ground. It's only a 3rd run, so I think there could be any sort of improvement on them 2 runs. So I'm going to go with Cador Bell. I think she's got a good chance, personally, each way.
Good stuff.
Brilliant, right? So a couple of good picks for that race. We'll move on again then to the 3 o'clock, the International States. It's a Class 2 handicap now. Now we normally do the group race and things, but there's obviously not that many. So I've thrown in a handicap to throw us all off a little bit, and I'm interested to see if we can come up with a winner of this pretty big field. Rich, I'm going to come to you, mate. Have you got a handicap plot for this race?
I hope so. I've gone for Escobar.
Oof.
I think he's about 25s when I looked. He might be somewhere around there still. Tory takes the ride. He's down to a mark of 107. So his last win was at Ascot on good to soft at the same rating. So he's down to his last winning mark. He was a good 4th in the Group 3. I think Tory knows Ascot like the back of his hand, and I think he could get him close potentially in this.
Yeah, 25-1. I like that pick. Obviously, Frankie's going to be looking for some winners. Are you in agreement, Joe? I'm feeling we might end up with 4 completely different horses with this being a big field, a lot of big prices. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, mate, to be fair, I've kept it simple. I've tracked this horse from the win the last day, Biggles. I really fancy this one. Won the Bunbury Cup last time out, was ridden with so much confidence from Ryan out the back. And when he come off the horse, when Rafe Beckett was interviewed, he said when Ryan come in, he said that was so much fun. And if a jockey's saying that, he's confident all the way. I think he still has plenty of room with his mark, to be honest. I know he won by 2 lengths, but to me it looked like Ryan was holding on to him, giving a little push, and he just shot off. He was second of 22 at Ascot before over course and distance, beaten by 4 lengths, but they were split across the track, 2 groups, and he finished first to 14 in his group. He's ground versatile. That was on soft ground. Like I say, Rafe Beckett was positive, which is always a good sign. And he mentioned this is one of the targets for the season. So I think he's definitely still got room in his market. I know he's been called for this. Ryan Moore was back on board. I think this is going to be a good bet for me.
Fantastic, mate. I'm excited. Like I say, it's one of them open races. What hidden gem have you found, Jack, at a big price?
Well, I've got 150-1 for you if you want me to start with that.
I'll bet that there. 150.
It's not my main. It's got my main pick, but I've already backed it. Orban. Listen, he's not found his form as last season or the season before. He's been piss poor this season, but he's a course and distance winner who loves it round Ascot. He always, I know what I wrote the form figures down. I haven't put them down, but his form figures quite well. Obviously, he's like, remember Fresh. I'll really get onto Fresh later, but he's like Fresh. Always runs a lot of Ascot. Always seems to run his good race. He's 150-1. You can power up any big field like this. If you get extra places, you might even get 6 places, 7 places. It's definitely worth each way bet. On Best Tickets Father, I think they're playing 9 places. You'll probably get about 66-1 for that. So if you can get on that. But yeah, he's going to hate me, but I'm with Joe again. Biggles. I landed on Biggles again. How he won that Bunbury Cup was. I don't even think Ryan actually used his weight. He gave him a tap on the neck and he just shot clear. And he's running off the same mark again today, 100. Today, on Saturday, he's running off the same mark again of 100. I can't see him not going in. And as Joe said, it's been a plan all season. And to be fair, I don't think the Bunbury Cup was actually the idea. I think he just got outdone by the Royal Ascot. He finished first of his pack, but the opposite side of the track were well ahead. And I think they were a bit disappointed with that and went to Bunbury Cup. But yeah, I do think Biggles goes in again 100%. It's hard because you have all these horses that win each other and you get about 20, 30 horses. But I do think Biggles he's better than the rest of the year, and I think he will be hard to beat. And as Joe said before, Ryan Moore off the horse and was like, wow, that was like, you got to thrive. No, when you're on a good horse and you win. I watched it back earlier on, and he just tapped him on the neck, and he didn't even touch his backside. The horse just knew where he had to go, and he power clear. And he won a lot easier than the distance says. He won very easy. So I think if he's anywhere near he was that day, he'll take a lot of beating.
The one thing I would say, if anyone wants to back, get on him ASAP, because he's gone into 5-1 now, and I don't think that each way price will last at all, to be honest. I think come the day it'll be a lot shorter.
Yeah, you can get sort of 6-1 currently. I do think 27 runners as it stands, like you say, you're going to get big places, aren't you?
You'll probably get about 2,000-1 on the forecast as well with Orban.
So that'll be absolutely some bet. I'm going to definitely. I'm picking this on Saturday. It's an unbelievable pick, all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sort of in agreement with you. So I think Biggles is the one to beat. I think that was an impressive run last time out. I won't go into it too much because you've basically explained it perfectly, lads. To be honest, I think it's a really good description of how I think it's going to go close. The only other one I had a real small tentative maybe mention was an horse called Safe Voyage. just because he's been running pretty well of late, off the mark of 97. I think he could go pretty close. Like I say, plenty of places, loads of runners, big field. He likes the soft ground, so it was just going to be a small tentative selection there. But I think Biggles is going to take all the beating, to be honest. So we won't spend too much time on that. Right, so moving on then. Last race at Ascot we're going to do before we do the King George. We're going to go with the Eddery Stakes, the listed race, 7 furlongs at 4:15. He's pointing towards Rich's Joe, so we're going to go with Rich.
Yeah.
Come on, Rich, take us away, mate. I'm assuming you're going to be on the caps coming out for this one, I'm sure.
Come on, Rich. I already know it.
Yeah, so Ancient Wisdom for me.
Yes.
Big fan of this horse. I imagine he's the best, or at least top 3 in the yard of 2-year-olds this year for Appleby. Yeah, I saw his debut. He won 5 lengths over 6 furlongs at Haydock and Good to Firm. He then backed it up last time out at Newmarket on over 7 on Good, giving second £6 as well. That was very impressive. I've already backed him for the Guineas for next year. This is how much I believe in this horse. I think he's a good one. He's probably going to be my nap for Saturday, if I'm honest with you.
Is that 6 bets you've had in the Guineas now, Richard?
Yeah, how many's in the field? I'll get through all of them by the time it comes around. I think he's not even. I think he's 11 to 10 best price. So I'll be having some of that before it goes. Yeah, I think he's a good bet. Ancient Wisdom for the boys in blue.
Fantastic. I'm assuming you're in agreement then, Joe. What are you thinking?
Yeah, mate. Like I say, exactly what Rich has just said there. I think he's the highest rated horse in the field. I think he's a lot better than the listed level, as you'd say. I think he'll go on to a lot better. Very expensive, very well bred. Held, like Rich said there, I think he's held in very high regard, and everything that you want in a horse. And he seemed to be. I know he only won, I think it was a length and 3/4 last time, but he was eased at the line, and he was never in danger, was he? I think this one will bolt up. I think Rich will be collecting from the bookies while he's got his Godolphin cap on.
Go on then, Rich. Jack, are you with the lads of the fave?
Yeah, I won't bore you for too long. Exactly what the lads have said. Ancient Wisdom. I've actually backed them as well, Rich, for the next year as well. So, and another. Have you seen how many times Godolphin have actually won this race? They've won it about 10 times. I was looking through the recent winners, and it was Naval Crown last year. I can't think of the top of my head, but he won it so many times. Mick Appleby must love this race, and he seems to win it with very good horses. And I do think Ancient Wisdom is going to be another good horse. Yeah, he blew everyone away winning Haydock, didn't he? And then he backed her up by Bolton over 7 furlongs at Newmarket. And I love Newmarket form. It's one of the. We'll get onto it when we get to the King George. If a horse wins well at Newmarket, he's a good horse, because Newmarket, you see some of the best horses in the world going to Newmarket and blowing out Augusta Roden for one. I love Newmarket form. So the way he won at Newmarket, you can tell he's a very, very good horse. And it weren't against no dogs either. It was against a good few horses. So yeah, I think he's the horse. He's the horse to keep an eye on this year and next year. Is it Alien Nabi? Alien Nabi. He's another one. Yeah, he's another one. Keep on the radar. He won nicely on debut when looking green, and then he bolted the second he won there. Bolted on my Foslas, albeit it's a class. He won a class 6, but it was a big forecast. It was a big form boost. Sorry. So yeah, I think it's between the two definitely. As I said before, it'd be interesting to see what the forecast pays, but I think it'll be between the two. I do think Ancient Wisdom will win with ease, but I think Alien Abbey will be following along.
Perfect. Well, before I quickly move on to the horse that's going to be Ancient Wisdom, Kev's just jumped in the comments, and he's obviously got a great mind like myself, because he thinks Safe Voyage is a good bet at 25 to 1 in that previous race. So, Kev, you're on to a winner there, pal. Big price, big winner.
Listen, whatever Kev says, Kev says,
whatever Kev says, empty your bank account, go at the bookies, and just put it on.
Oh, I'll tell you what as well, and save your love. My tip for today's just one. Get in, Rich. Oh, fantastic. Right, so quickly moving on then. My selection. I'm going to give a small mention to Al Musmak. Roger Varian's horse, David Egan, takes the ride. It's just, like I say, the favourite obviously is extremely strong, as you've all said, but I'm just going to take a bit of an each-way punt against. I thought the horse impressed me on debut. If you watch, he sort of raising the stalls just before they set off, and he just showed a real good attitude, albeit you can see he's sort of hanging to his left, but I just think he showed a bit of an experience and still stayed on strongly to pick up the win by a neck. I just think the horse is going to appreciate the soft ground, and I think, obviously, he looks a strong type to improve from that debut. I mean, obviously, it's going to take a massive step up to beat Ancient Wisdom, so it will be interesting to see how he gets on. But I'm just going to give a small tentative each way pick to Al Musmak. You can get about 7.5 to 1, sort of 8 to 1. So again, another bumper forecast for us there, lads.
Oh, yeah.
Right, moving on then. So love it. We've got a question here from Jordan. I've not read it, but I'll put it up. Let's have a look what he's put. Hi, lads. Question for Jack. What's your take on betting on horses not to complete the race? Oh, fantastic. Nice one, Jack. Good to have you on, mate. Glad you're watching. Right, so we're going to move on now to a couple of races at York before we do the big one. So we're going to start with the Sky Bet Dash, the Class Handicap 6 furlong. We'll come to you then, Jack, on that note. Have you got a pick for this one, mate?
To be honest, I've not got a massive fancy on it. I pick one. Sorry, I've just seen Kev's comment there. I've not got a massive fancy on it. I know that it's going to be a bog down there at York. So in the end, I've just sort of look for horses who enjoy York and will like the grounds. I went with It Just Takes Time. I think it's like 16 to 1, 18 to 1. I'm not sure. After if you can check that up with me, I'm not sure. But he loves soft ground. He's a soft ground merchant. Always seems to run his best races on soft ground. His form figures for the last 6 runs, it's been third, first, fourth, first, sixth, second. The one where he comes 6th was on. I can't remember. But when he runs on soft ground, it always seems to bring the best out of him, and he loves it around York. He always seems to run his race. He's won over the distance, and he's won at York before. So he's 14 to 1. So it's not a big fancy, but I was having a look. I just had a little each way on that, but it's more of a watching brief to me.
Yeah, it's a tough race, just quick looking at it there. 15 runners. It's going to be soft ground York. It's going to be tough. What are your thoughts on it, Joe, mate? Let's hear it, pal.
I quite like Gale Force Maya. Not, like I say again, not a massive sort of opinion on it, but this horse, who's a course and distance winner, seemed to have progressed with every run and finished third over course and distance last time out in a Group 3, which is...
It's a non-runner.
No.
What horse was that? Sorry, Joe.
Didn't I do this last time?
Clip that on the Twitter.
We're going to clip that on Twitter once again. We're going to have to change the banner once again.
One of the lads from the group chat screenshot Joe's face there.
I'll get a screenshot of that, don't you worry.
To be honest, mate, I'll probably leave it. I'm quite surprised about that, though, because I did see last night, I'd done my notes a couple of days ago, and I was obviously doing them over time, and then I checked last night, and it had quite a bit of money. I hope you're not clipping it there, James.
Don't you worry, mate. It's going to be all over social media, mate. Don't you? You just do. You be you, mate. You do you. It's rapid, Jack.
He's doing it again.
No, brilliant. No, not a massive play in the race. And for me, I will be at York though. I'm there on Saturday, and I do have a fairly strong pick in the next race. But no, nothing for me. I'll let you guys carry on with that while I go and cry. And I'm just nibbling at the toilet.
Well then, Rich, take it away, mate. Let's hope you've picked not a non-runner.
I'm sure it'll run well, Joe, whenever it runs. Just won't be on Saturday.
Next time.
So there's
in the trackers, lads.
There's a few I've looked over. It's like I say, it's very tough. the two I'm probably going to mention are Summergand and Barefoot Angel. So Summergand down to a mark of 97. His last two wins have come over a mark of 109 and 97. So he's down to a winnable mark, in my opinion. He's got a low draw, which I think is quite useful in these York sprints. When he raced at Pontefract last time out, he raced fairly wide, and Pontefract isn't very forgiving. It's quite a tough track, actually. So, but I'm going to take his second to Rowan in the Group 3 last season on good to soft as good form. I mean, he needs a mini revival, but he's priced at 10 to 1, and I think if he does, then I think that's going to be a cracking price. I think he'll outrun that. The next one I've got is Barefoot Angel. He's about 11 to 1, drawn 6th. He's a Group 3 winner last season at Ayr, beating Believing, who's now rated 108 and has won over in France. He's had wind surgery as well and races off 97. So usually if they have wind surgery, I think that brings on a bit of improvement. Been a Group 3 winner, potentially the old analogy, group horse and a handicap, runs off 97. Could be loads of improvement there. So they're the two that I'll probably throw in.
Nice, Rich. Like I say, I mean, it's a tough race. I know you've all made some good points there, and obviously Joe's absolutely made no points whatsoever because he's picked another long runner. But I won't mention it again, I promise. I've got a small play on a horse called Magical Spirit. You can get around 12 to 1. It's in a little bit of support to being bigger earlier in the week, but Tom Eves takes the ride for Kevin Ryan. I think the soft ground will be fine. It's just one of them. He's been dropped £1 for his last run. It puts him only £2 above his when he won at Doncaster on soft ground. So I do think the conditions will suit. Gets the trip pretty well. I think I put a line through his last run. It was on the all-weather. I never really take much notice of that all-weather. I think back on soft ground, got a decent chance off a mark of 96. Like I say, I won't go. That's pretty much all I've got for that. It was a tough handicap. You got big for handicaps. They're always tough at York, but hopefully they get some nice weather. It don't get too soft, and we throw up some nice winners. Right, yeah. So we're going to move on to the second to last one before we hit the big one. We're going to go to the 3:15 at York, the York Stakes, the Group 2, 1 mile, 2 furlong, 3:15. I'm going to come to you, Joe. I'm hoping you've tipped up a runner. We shall see. I'm assuming. I think I know it might be. I might be, but we'll see. Take it away, Joe. Let's hear it, pal.
Yeah, mate, I'm on at 13 to 8. I think I'd be surprised if she's up them on, to be honest, my Prospero. Obviously, Marquand's there for the ride, not going to Ascot, which is, big in itself. Clearly the best form in the race. Ever since he won that Group 2, he's been in Group 1 company. I just don't think he's hit the heights they thought. He's been in a lot of close places where he's been coming back at the line. You just think the extra half a furlong or whatever he'd have got there, and just has never got his head in front, but ran well in most races. I expect him to piss up, to be honest, mate. I really do. Like I say, last time he was outside of the Group 1 company, he was in a Group 2 and he won there, so no sort of qualms about that. He's got great form with the top horses. And I think he'll bolt up, to be honest. And I think the extended 1 mile 2 and a bit of cut in the ground will suit him perfectly at York.
Yeah, I think you could be onto a one there. I'm assuming this is going to be our nap of the week, isn't it, Rich? Are you with Joe on my Prospero?
He's my next best of the week. Yeah, I mean, like Joe said, been down in Group 1 company, dropped down to Group 2. This has got to be some sort of confidence booster for him just to get that win under his belt. I imagine his target's going to be Ascot Champions Day in some sort of Group 1. So this is just a stepping stone onto bigger and better things. So if you don't win this, I think it's just going to ruin his season for Haggis. My Prospero for me.
Are you going to make it a hat trick, Jack? Are you going to go 3 for 3?
No, I mean, no. It's not a big bet race for me, but
yeah,
the more I'm looking at it, like, I don't know if I'm betting with my heart or what, but I tipped him up on the Royal Ascot show a few weeks ago, Czech and challenged.
Yeah,
I just can't seem to. You might have seen the group chat when I said back on for next time out. It's a little classy race. It's been won by one I'd say is failed Group 1 and 2 horses. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but it was won by Bangkok and Sabuska. He had Sabushka ended up a handicapper, but this is,
Yeah,
as I
Sabushka
said,
last time.
yeah, and then
Bangkok
Bangkok.
before,
Yeah. I tipped them up on the podcast 25-1. It was probably me each way fancy the whole meeting, and he missed the break. He lost about 4 or 5 lengths on the break, and he just never. He coming around the bend, you're thinking, "Oh my god!" I know when you stop looking at your horse, thinking it's beat, and then when Furlong out to look at it, and you can see it powering through the middle of the field. You're like, "Oh my!" I think he finished 5th or 6th, but to get where he was from where he was 2-3 furlongs out, I was like, "Fuck!" I think if he would have got a good break there, either one. I know it's hard to say, but he thrown the first time visor on him, which will also help him concentrate because he can be a lunatic sometimes, and jump his front legs up like he did in the stores at Royal Ascot. But yeah, I don't think the field's that good. And if you're asking me, I actually looked at this race and before the market was announced, and I put Check and Challenge down as 7-1. He's 16-1. I'd rather be backing him at 16-1 than my Prospero of 6-5 or the others. I know it's the outside of the field, he could get smoked, but that's the gambling for you. I'd rather back him at 16-1 than any others.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you there, Jack, to be honest with you. I think when you get a race like this, small field, sort of just 5 runners, I know obviously my Prospero is probably the likeliest winner, but do you really want to be taking sort of 5-4 where you could maybe just have a punt against something bigger and hope that my Prospero sort of maybe bombs out or whatever? I think Check and Challenge is probably the one to be on.
Depends if you want to win or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, for my Prospero, it's like he's well got the best form. He's the most likely winner. I completely agree why the lads fancy him, but in a race of this nature, of 5-4, my Prospero's let everyone down a few times. Like, I couldn't be touching him at 5-4, although it's probably a winnable race. Is he a better 5-4? The lads might disagree with me, but I don't think he is. I think Check and Challenge. Last season, I thought Check and Challenge would be a Group 1 winner. I genuinely did. I was completely wrong, but that's what I thought about. That's what I thought about the horse at the time, and he seemed to let me down again this season. But I'm hoping he can do some. If I can get a place, that's perfect. If he can win, even better. But yeah, I'll be backing him.
No, I think you got a valid point there, mate. I think like it's one of them, for the reward back in my Prospero, you've got to put obviously a little bit more on. But I mean, I was sort of in the realms of I'm against the favour myself. I'm just going to have a little play on Mashmore. You can sort of get 11-2. Again, it's not a massively big betting race. It's maybe just a couple of points, something like that. But Mashmore put away our reefer last time. We were on.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it.
We won't go into that.
You can't swear on here. You can't swear on here, would you?
Yeah, Mashmore put away our reefer last. But yeah, that was a decent one. Like I say, I think. Again, gets the trip well. I don't think the ground will be too bad for him, and I just think he'll handle it, and it'll be, if he improves from that last run, I think he's going to go close. But I'd be happy taking on my Prospero. If he goes and wins, fair enough. But I think I'll just take him on Saturday, to be honest.
Wait, it's not a bad pick, that, James. He's going to try and make all again, and if they let him go, I don't think they'll catch him.
Well, that's what I mean. If they let him get away a little bit, and they don't necessarily come back to him at York, especially on the soft ground, they can get away. So. It's one of them. Do I want to have my Prospero having to battle to get back in front, or someone who can sort of kick on and maybe hold on? So
he'll make all, and Tom Marquand will follow him, and you'll both be dead fair on goals, and Check and Challenge will come there on the bridle, take them all on.
One of us is getting a clip.
Clip that.
We'll be clipping one of these. One of us is going to get the same clip for them.
Yeah, delete that clip and put Jackson.
Joe, you just keep tipping non-runners, mate. You just keep Right then, so we're going to move on to the big one of the weekend. Finally, the King George Queen Elizabeth Stakes, Group 1, 1 mile, 4 furlong. I'll quickly run through the field because obviously it's a pretty star-studded field. We've obviously got Augusta Roden, King of Steel, Hookham, Emily Upjohn, pile drivers in there, Luxembourg, Westover, Dover Legend, Hamish, Point Lonsdale, and 150-1 Bolshoi Ballet. We'll come to the non-runner king, Joe, first. Who was your pick for the biggest race of the weekend?
Desert Crown's not running, Joe, before you mention him.
Say again?
Desert Crown's a non-runner, Joe, just in case you tipped in.
Is it actually?
Yeah, Desert Crown's a non-runner. Please tell me you've tipped him. Please tell me you've tipped him.
You should just let him go with it.
No, I've been sweet on this horse for a while. Well, all season. Emily Upjohn, love this horse. If you look through the recent record of the race, I know last year Emily was in there with Westover and bombed out. But the younger horses, even though they get the weight allowance, don't seem to have that edge. It's a very strange one, but the older horses, the wiser horses, the stronger horses seem to rise to the top in this race.
Breaking news. Sorry, Joe. Carry on, mate. Carry on.
And I just feel like in the betting as well, very underestimated. I mean, she had a massive race when coming second to Paddington last time out and giving quite a bit of weight away as well. I feel like the step back up to 1 mile 4 over 1 mile 2 is a big positive. I think Frankie's the perfect jockey for this one. Sometimes he's not my favourite jockey in the world, but I think he's perfect. Obviously, this horse wore a hood last year, was seen to, very, very erratic. Maybe not seen as much this year, but races without the hood on, I think she still needs a bit of settling, and I think Frankie's the perfect person to do that. Is about 9 to 2, 5 to 1, perfect each way price. Is a course and distance winner as well. I think it's a bet to nothing, to be honest. I can't see her out the places. I think she, mentally wise, I know not a lot of people don't really speak about it, but I think mentality wise, completely different horse from last year. Still seems a bit not agitated, but a bit of a head case, but not throwing the head round. As soon as they get it covered, she switches off and runs the best race. And like I do say, I think she's at 5 to 1, 9 to 2. I think with Desert Crown being the non-runner, I think this is probably the horse that I'll be siding with.
Fantastic. That's one vote for Emily Upjohn. I'm going to come to you, Jack. Biggest, probably best race of the season on paper. Who are you going with? It's such an open race, isn't it?
You just took the words out of my mouth. I was literally about to say then, this is probably the best. This is probably the best race, flat horse race I've probably seen in about 2-3 years.
Up there, isn't it?
If you take the Arc away, the Arc is always the best of the best. But this is, I can't remember the last time I've seen so many good horses actually get declared for a race and all run against each other, because it never happens anymore, does it?
No.
But I completely understand what Joe said about Emily Upjohn. I think if the roles would have been reversed there in the Coral Eclipse and Emily Upjohn would have got the lead, I think the result would have got reversed as well. I know Joe loves Paddington, but I do think if it probably would have been reversed and Emily Upjohn would have won. It was some race, wasn't it? Especially for the two-horse race, wasn't it? Yeah, she's a class horse on the day, Emily Upjohn, but I can't get away from Augusta Roden. I just think he's so good. Listen, everyone says how disappointing he was at the Curragh, but I'm gonna say something. I might get slated for it, but I do think he doesn't like good ground. Like I know he blew out of Newmarket on good ground, but as I was saying earlier, Newmarket is one of the trickiest flat courses to go to. It's up, down, all over the place. Horses stumbling everywhere. You see it all the time. Yep. I just think he didn't like it, especially for an Irish rider. The ground will be soft, and he will like the cut in the ground. The race at the Curragh last time out, it was on good ground, and I just don't think he likes good ground.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he likes it at all. But I think Hookham, I just can't have it all. King of Steel, he's good, but will he take to the ground? That's the question mark. He ran over soft, and he won, but it was against a load of dogs, wasn't it? There was no one, and he only won by a neck or so, I think. Luxembourg, I love the horse, but he's too. I love Luxembourg, but he's too inconsistent for me. Can't back him. But Augusta Roden, if you put a line through that Newmarket Guineas run, I think you'd be a lot shorter than 3 to 1, a lot shorter. And I'm willing to put a line through that because you see what happened to Little Big Bear. Little Big Bear done exactly the same. Then he come out and won a Group 1 or Group 2. It's a tough race. Anyone can win, but I do think I'm looking at the market and I'm thinking Augusta Roden 3 to 1. I would have him 5-4, 5-4, 11-8, 6-4. I really would. That's how highly I think of the horse. I do think he's a class horse, and I think if he would have got like the better running at Newmarket, he would have won the Guineas as well. Because you see, he blew them all away now in the Derby. So, yeah, Westover. I can't see it in reversing the form of Emily Upjohn. No chance. Yeah, so it's Augusta Rowan for me. It's a mad race in because you get so many good horses coming against each other. You can literally go on forever with your notes. You can make claims for every single horse. But yeah, Augusta Rowan, I think he'll be very hard to beat. But listen, it only takes one of these horses to be on the A game, and any of them can win, couldn't they? So we'll just see. It's one of the best races, as I said. It's one of the best races I've seen in about 2-3 years. Let's just hope they all turn up. You know what I mean? We don't want any pull-ups on the day or anything. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You know, it isn't often where you look down at a field of 10, 11 and you think every one of them is a top level horse all coming together against each other. And luckily we have got that. And I think, like you say, you could make a case for any of them, and any of them could go and win. Like you said, let's just hope they're all on their A game and they all go run their races. Rich, are you going to be with something different, or are you with either of the other two lads?
It's tricky. I've gone over it numerous times and I keep coming out with a different answer. We was at York where King of Steel was meant to run the Dante. He's an absolutely stunning horse, this one. If you could win it on looks, this horse would win.
Well, we got if not mentioned, Joe, we got who was it that tipped him up?
Ed Chamberlain.
Ed Chamberlain.
It was Megan Nichols was on the ITV, and we seen Ed Chamberlain walking in. We had a bit of a chat, and we said, "Oh, who'd you like for today?" And he went King of Steel, and me and James were like, "King of Steel,
Nah, no chance. That'll never win."
Nose, non-runner, and then about 2 weeks later, watching everyone's on about Augusta Road, and fair enough because he won. King of Steel, second, unlucky, and I'm like, what? Maybe Ed Chamberlain can pick a horse.
You know, I seen a tweet about that horse the other day saying King of Steel. I looked at the picture and I seen it next to the trainer standing there, and I was thinking, nah, that's a fake picture. He can't be that big, and he's massive, isn't he? He's a proper machine. I thought the picture was edited. Honestly, I did.
Get him over hurdles. I say. Go on then, Rich. Let's say your pick, pal.
The triumph.
Get him into Supreme.
Yeah, for me, it's between King of Steel and Augusta Rodin. I can see Stott riding King of Steel differently. I think he's not going to go too early. I think he's going to sit either with Rodin or behind him. And when Rodin goes, King of Steel, I think, will go, and it'll be whoever lasts. I think Emily John, it was a hard race against Paddington. I think she's had the hardest race between those three in the market anyway. If that could leave, I think that potentially might leave a mark on her. I know she gets weight from most of the field, but she's got to give £6 to Rodin and King of Steel. I think she might come up short again, if I'm honest with you.
She can blow out as well, can't she?
Yeah, I like Rodin. I think the ground's going to suit. I think even though they were disappointed, I think Connections know he's a good horse, and I think we're going to see a different Rodin on this sort of ground. My only concern with him is he's drawn 11. So I saw a stat. Out of the last 8 of 10 run-ins, all the winners have been drawn between stalls 3 and 8. So potentially the draw might be a slight issue. But yeah, I've got a slight nod on Augusta Rodin if I had to pick one, but I'm very sweet on King of Steel as well.
Yeah, I mean, King of Steel is sort of creeping towards a bit of a muggy each way. You can get sort of 4-1. You know, won't put anyone off that. But and like I say, Rodin, I think I agree with what you and Jack said about. I think he'll be a lot more at home on the softer ground. I do think that's where he's going to do his best work. But I just think that they're very strong at the top. But I'm just going to take a little bit of a punt against, and I like to get behind sort of trainers / owners who get quite buzzy about their own horses. Obviously, I did it with Marine National last year when I jumped on Joe's bandwagon with Barry Connell coming out saying this will not be beat. But anyway, I quite like the
non-runner.
confidence behind Pile Driver. Now I know obviously that run first time out after a 300-day plus layoff was pretty impressive in the Hardwick, staying on strong to win. And I just think coming into this, obviously nobody's gone back to back since Enable a few years ago. I could see Pile Driver running a massive race. And obviously the top of the market are really strong, but I think if a couple of them maybe just don't run to their absolute best, I think Pile Driver could be improving from his last run and go on and potentially do it back to back.
If you get 4 places, that's a good bet, James. See, you might get 4th.
Yeah, do you know Pile Driver as well? Every single time I back that horse, he gets beat, but every single time I back against him, he wins. So I'm backing against him this week. So everyone who's watching, back him because he'll win.
Obviously, I'm on to winning. I think I've got a real good look if they me this week. Obviously, I won it last year. I mean, I was sort of looking at. I mean, I do like Rodin, but I think Aidan O'Brien's obviously not won this race. Just looking at this since 2016, so he has obviously struggled to win it. Obviously, he's got a massive chance for Rodin, but I just thought I'd take a chance on for Pile Driver to win that Ascot race off the back of such a long layoff. If he has improved on that, I know it was the level below, but he can come into this level again, and he's going to have a real good crack at winning this race once again next year. I think he's shown that he retains that ability. So fingers crossed he can run a big race, and if one of the top of the market does bomb out, then maybe he'll be there to pick up the pieces.
Good stuff.
Right, happy days, and that's it for the main races, lads. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish with the anything else for the weekend. We'll go around, and if you've got what, Joe? Sorry to interrupt.
I'm just going to go and have my tea and have a shower while Rich does his, and then I'll come back and do mine.
Well, hopefully he's not got as many as you.
I'm going to do a 5K there, Chris.
Well then, Rich, we'll let you go first, mate. Have you got anything else for the weekend? Fly through your 62 selections.
I've only got 4, so short and sweet.
Wow.
The first one's not real a betting race. Friday Ascot 150 Penaria for Godolphin. He opened up at like 11 to 8, 15 to 8, something like that. He's now 5 to 6 on, so he's been hammered off the board. He's one for the trackers potentially. If he bolts in, could be pretty special. The next one I've got is tomorrow at York again. 7:15, Queen for You, one that James has backed before. Was 5th in the Coronation Stakes.
Hamlin's not on board, is he?
I think he is.
Oh.
So he's going to break late and finish second. But he was 5th in the Coronation Stakes at Ascot, but he was a short head second at York in the Dante meeting where James backed him and was screaming at Havlin. But
she should have won that day. She should have won that day.
Well, she's returning back to listed level and back to York, so there's every chance she's going to go close again. The next one I've got is another Godolphin first timer. Newmarket 2:15 on the Saturday. Al Ablan. No real price at the minute, but similar case with the other one. If the money comes, either jump on or watch out, because usually Godolphin money isn't too far away.
Yeah.
The last one I've got is the 250 at Newmarket again on the Saturday. Promoter ran no sort of race on that good to firm ground last time out. It's a horse that's going to need soft. It's going to be soft. You should see a better type of horse. I think when I checked the odds, potentially was about 7 to 2. And that's all I've got for you this week.
Fantastic, Rich. I'll come to you then, Jack. Have you got anything for the rest of the weekend that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, just been checking on my phone there. Right, so I'll get to it in a sec. Sorry. I've got one tonight. I've got one tonight. Running at 8:30.
Go on.
Like a Tiger at Yarmouth.
Yeah, I like it.
We got Like a Tiger at Yarmouth. Running at 8:30 tonight. I was going to say the start of the podcast, but I worked it out that we'll be. You got 35 minutes to back it. So if anyone's watching it, I think he's 3 to 1. He's running the Summer Series at Yarmouth. The horse has been begging out for soft ground for the last few months. He's been pulled out 5 times because the ground hasn't came his way. He gets soft ground today and drops back down to a class 2. Heady turn and takes the ride. He's off a mark at 92, and I see him improving that to 95, 96, 100%, even more. So yeah, Like a Tiger. Anyone watching, 3 to 1. Have a little bet on him. I've been checking on my phone then, just because I wrote this down before I had the prices, and I've just got the prices. The 5:45 at York on Saturday. Banja Bandit. I've tracked him. I've put in the. What I had the second at Haydock, and he went straight into my tracker after it. Sam James was looking for a gap for about 2 furlongs. Couldn't get a gap at all, and about the half furlong mark from the post, he got a gap, and the race was long gone by then. He was no chance he was going to win. He was about 7th, but then when the gap come, he ended up finishing cruising on and coming 4th. And I actually put in my tracker. I asked him and said, "This horse will win next time out." That's all I've got. That's the only note that I put on my notes. I've just checked the price. Then he's 4-1 favourite. He's been priced up earlier. That's him there. If you can you get that?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, he's 4-1 favourite. I've just checked just then because I didn't price it. But no matter what price he was, I was going to back him no matter what. I've wrote here. I'd be interested to see the race. The race isn't great, so he hasn't got a lot to do. If you go back and watch his Haydock run, you'll understand what I mean. He had no Sam James had no space whatsoever for about 2 furlongs. He was trying to get out with that half furlong marker. He got out there and he bombed on me. He was about 7th or 8th, and they ended up finishing 4th. But the race was well gone there. He was never going to win.
Yeah.
That one 4-1, 5:45 York Banja Bandit. And Grandam, he was entered in the Valiant. We spoke about earlier on. He's been pulled and he's going over to France. Apparently, you never know. The owners, they pull them out all the time. He might not go, but I think that, to be fair, if I was the owners, I'd send him here because I think he's got a good chance. I don't have any price on him. I don't think there will be a price yet, but we spoke about it earlier. We fancied him for Royal Ascot. He was cruising along and he sort of blew out. To be honest, 2 days after, I was waiting for the owners, the trainer, to come back and say he popped the blood vessel or something, and they haven't said anything whatsoever. So I'm sort of like, do I back him, or was that just like, I'm willing to give him one more chance because I did really fancy him at Royal Ascot. I'd be interested to see what price he is, but the race isn't great. So I think this time round, hopefully he can be there at the finish, and I think he's got a good chance. I'm not sure what the price is though. But yeah, that's the 3 for me.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to Saturday now. I've definitely tracked a couple of these that you mentioned, lads, and hopefully we'll have a good Saturday. You got anything on for the rest of the weekend, Joe?
I've got 2, mate. 2 for tomorrow night at Newmarket. The first one, Johnny Johnson, ran respectively in some good maidens. The most recent one was the 4th, and the 3rd hasn't ran yet, but the 1st and the 2nd have both come out and won. And you've got Richard Kingscourt out on board this time, which is a big positive. So that will be the first one, and the second one in the next race will be Highland Song. Now this one's just hasn't run before, unraced, very well bought and cost 200,000 guineas. Kingdom Colt, like I say, very well bred, and Sean Levy is a very interesting booking. I haven't got a price on this one, but I'll be looking straight away and seeing if the money comes, and if it does come, I will be back in.
Fantastic. And what about your other one? Did you say you had another one?
No, Johnny Johnson was the first one, and Highland Song was the second.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, fair play, mate. Like it. Fantastic. I just got a couple. Four to give a quick mention. So there's 2. I've got 2 in one race though, but they're both at pretty big prices. The 4:14 at Cork tomorrow. There's an horse called Altimara, the Ross O'Sullivan trained, I think. And there's another one called Buddy Bat. I'd probably hedge both of them in that race. I think both at a big price could run nice races. Both outpaced on debut over 5 furlong. I think they'll come on for them runs, and they both stepped up into the 6 furlong race now. I do think it'll suit. There's plenty of distance in the pedigree for Altimara, so that'll probably be the stronger of the 2, but I'd just give them 2 a small mention. And then moving on to Saturday, there's a horse running at Newcastle, the 3:10. It's called Tautatis. I think that there's an amateur race. I think you tipped up the second in it, Joe. It just got picked up late on when the front 2 bolted off. It's a 2-mile race, amateur race, and this one come from a lot further back to pick up 4th. And I just think at 2 mile again, it could be primed for a big run. Hopefully, we can get a decent price. It's not priced up at the moment, but fingers crossed it's a decent each way. So I'll probably put in that one up at some point as well. And the only other one I'll give a mention to is one called Bondi Boy. It's the 325 at Newmarket. She's 2 from 3. She put the race to bed last time out pretty comfortably, and I can see her continuing that progress. Probably been better than this level that she's going to run in tomorrow. So that was my other one, Bondi Boy. I think that horse is going to run pretty well on Saturday. And that's it, lads. So we've run through the weekend, some really nice picks there. We're going to finish with our naps and next best. So we'll go for next best first, and I'll just go around the lads. So, Rich, what is your next best for the weekend, mate?
My Prospero.
My Prospero. What about you, Jack?
What's that? Sorry, next best.
Next best for the weekend.
Biggles.
Biggles, I love it. Nice to get 6-1 for that. I love that. Joe, what about you, mate?
My Prospero. Sorry.
2 for my Prospero. My next best is going to be, I'm going to chance Al Musmak against the Godolphin Hot Pot there. I'm going to chance that as my next best. And we'll go back the other way. Joe, what's your nap of the weekend?
My nap is everybody lump on Biggles.
That's definitely going to be a non-runner then. What about you then, Rich?
I just say that.
It's got the non-runner Joe curse now, so we'll have to wait and see. What's your nap, Rich?
Ancient Wisdom.
That gets beat by my next best, but it'll be a good race. And I'll finish on you, Jack. Special guest, what's your nap of the weekend? What we're piling into?
The big race of the weekend. Augusta Roden.
Augusta Roden, I love it. My nap, I was going to go with Cadeau Bell in the 225 at Ascot, but I think those are some fantastic picks. And what's Joe put there? Lump on Biggles. Well, at least if you wait till non-runner no, if you get non-runner no bet, or you'll be back.
Well, it's just gone non-runner no bet, so you'll be happy for that.
Fantastic. Well, lads, that's everything then. We're going to finish on a final. We'll go a quick round for the final word. What are your final thoughts on the weekend, Rich? Is it going to be a bumper weekend, isn't it?
It's got the race of the year in it, hasn't it, to be fair? You probably not see a better race for quite a while, so just sit back and enjoy it and hopefully the best horse wins.
Correct. And what about you, Joe? Same thing?
Exactly the same, mate. To be fair, this is probably one of the best weekends and best races of the flat season. Enjoy it, watch it, have a few beers, enjoy it with your mates, and then spend your winnings in the pub later on.
Well, then Jack finishes off, mate. Our special guest once again. It's been a pleasure to have you on, mate. What's your final word?
Yeah, the same as the lads. Just enjoy it. Don't be doing your balls, like I always say. Just try to enjoy it. Be sensible. Have a gamble, but don't get over the top, because once you get over the top, you won't enjoy it. It's all about the sport. So get out, have a few beers, watch. It's great racing all Saturday, isn't it? And it's good racing tomorrow as well. So just enjoy it.
Brilliant, I love it. And that's the same for me. Enjoy the weekend, a few beers with the lads, bit of sunshine, and just enjoy the racing for what it is, boys. And we'll see you all next time. This is the Final Flight Podcast. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, boys.
See you later.